Hey, everybody. Welcome to Realtor Reputation. I'm April Lopez.
And I'm Shannon Howard Basordi. Welcome.
And we are here today with our episode number 9.
We're at 9.
We are just hitting it.
Wow, like 9 lives.
Yes, I love it. So anyway, thank you everybody who's tuned in so far. We are really having fun with this, just kind of talking about real estate, talking about our lives, talking about whatever we feel like talking about.
Yeah, and there's always something to talk about.
There really is.
There really is.
There really is. We do have a giveaway. If you haven't seen it, we haven't announced the winner just yet. So if you have been liking, subscribing, and sharing our post, if you go to Instagram, we are giving away the book that we featured in our last episode, which is by
Tracy Atsuka, here, an author in Petaluma.
And we are going to do that giveaway. So I promise you, we will announce the winner. Maybe we'll do a special episode or something to announce the winner.
I think so. Yeah, that would be great.
We will figure it out. Shannon will get creative on how we're
creative.
Yeah.
Confetti and all.
Yeah, all of it. So let's just get right into it. Mom moment of the week is what we're going to start with.
We are. April, tell me about you had like a mom moment of the day.
I did. So this morning was extremely exciting. I was, I think, just as nervous as my daughter driving to the DMV. Because, you know, when they don't pass a test, like, I feel like you're going to get the brunt of it, right?
Oh, yeah. And I feel like you'd have to, like, take the whole day off to, like, comfort them.
100. And I was ready to do that. I was going to cancel it. Like,
now I would totally understand.
So I went to the DMV this morning. My daughter had her driver's test. We were on vacation last week. We went to Park City, Utah, and it was really, really fun. But we're like preparing all of last week as far as the DMV appointment today. And she can have a lot of anxiety and just get really, really in her own head. So I was trying to calm her this morning. I was like, are you nervous? But I don't want to ask that she's nervous because then she gets too nervous. And I was like,
she's like, stop talking to me.
Yeah, pretty much. But
does she put does she use like earbuds? Like my daughter like walks around with her earbuds in.
So she was trying to tune me out. But anyway, so we go to DMV, I check her in, I do all of the stuff, and then she drives off, and my husband, then I put my earpods in, and he's on the phone, and he's like...
He was there too?
Well, no, he was at work.
Oh, okay, I thought like...
In my ear, so then that way, he was like, okay, I'm just going to stay on the phone with you and wait.
Sweet.
Only because... he's like, it's either really good or really bad. And he didn't want me to call and him be excited with her in the car if she had not.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, because then it was like, yeah. So anyway, she passed. We're good. And then, of course, she didn't drive to school because we drove my car to the DMV, and then it would be a matter of like, so.
That's so exciting.
So now I was like, you get to drive yourself to school.
Which is good and bad.
I'm so excited.
Because then you have to worry.
I know.
But it's also good.
True. But I mean, I live in you know this. I live in Santa Rosa. My kids go to school in a different town.
Yeah.
So I drive from Santa Rosa to the town every single day.
Yes.
Although my husband told me I have to follow her for the next 2 weeks.
See, I was wondering about that. Or you have like a, what is it? You put the AirPod tracker under the car.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
Right?
You get I mean, her phone, we track her phone.
Yeah, but...
That's so...
What if she
What an AirTag.
Yes, the AirTag.
I'm going to get one.
Yes, get one.
I
think I'm going to put him in one of my daughter's shoes.
Yeah. So, but where are you going? So yeah, it was an exciting day for me. And then we went on vacation last week. So that was...
you got to actually relax.
I did relax. Yeah.
It's really hard to do, to turn it all off, isn't it?
I mean,
I have a hard time with that.
Totally. And I did. And there was one day... I hurt myself. I don't know how I hurt myself going to the gym, I think is how I hurt myself. So my back was kind of just touchy. And I was like, I don't want to go.
You try to get healthy and then you hurt yourself. What's the point?
That's exactly. So we were going on a snow trip. So
where you have to use your body.
You have to use your body. My husband's like, any vacation, we must use our body. Like, that's the way he likes to vacation. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to sit on a beach.
That's like my kind of vacation. Yes.
I told him, I was like, I'm going to the beach next.
Yeah.
Like
I want a beach vacation. And, the girls say we want to do like this DC trip and they want to go to Paris. And like, I really want to take the girls to Europe. I think that's going to be more of like a high school graduation trip.
Totally.
In a couple of years, but and all I could think of is it'd just be so nice to sit somewhere warm and like sandy beach and like people bring you things.
That's exactly.
That's like my idea of.
And my husband can't sit still, so he's like, I don't like that. I was like, but we like to walk around towns and we like to do that. Like we did that in Park
It's
City.
good to have like some, you know, you don't want to just sit there every day, but have a couple outings. But it's just nice to have like the day where you don't have to do anything.
Oh no, him and my husband and my son, every single day they were up in the morning. They're like, we're skiing. And I'm okay, good for
I'm going to get my coffee.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm nearly in bed all day.
Yeah,
And, you know, the smart TV at the, you know, vacation rental that we had, I can log into my Netflix. There was one day that everybody went skiing and I laid in bed until 1:30.
Oh, so nice.
And
Quiet.
and I'm going to say that I admit to doing that because
There's nothing wrong with that. I called it vacation.
Yeah.
And then my husband, I know that you've been trying to sell like your travel trailer, right?
Oh, yes.
So we have one and, you know, it's been really great and it's fun, but all of our vacations exist of camping.
Oh, yeah.
And I call that like a trip. That to me, that's not like a vacation because I'm still cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm setting up, gathering all the stuff for the beach.
It's
Like,
a lot. It's a lot of work.
I come home and I'm really tired. And then my husband comes home and he has to clean. You know, it's a lot. I want to go like where you fly in and the nice people at the hotel are like, here's your lei, here's your cocktail, spa. Yeah, they make my bed. I want to do that.
No, I agree. We do a lot of camping trips and that
And
sort
it's
of
fun.
thing.
Like I don't mind it, but I
Totally.
like to. And you have to mix in some.
Yeah. I told my husband is that like it's summertime, we're going to the lake.
Yeah.
We have a boat. Like we want to get the most use out of it, I guess you can say, because a boat's one of those things where it just sits.
Yeah, and then you
For
have
9 months out
but
of
then
the
you
year.
have problems like if you don't take it out. Like I grew up boating, and
Totally.
so you know there was always like you had to get the boat ready for the lake. You know,
But I told him, I was like, I'm going to Hawaii this summer.
ooh,
Maybe
he
not
doesn't
this
want to
summer.
go.
If I
He
don't
doesn't
get
want to go, we'll go.
Oh, perfect.
We'll take the podcast on the road.
Yes. Traveling. Maybe we can invite any fans that want to go with us.
Sure.
But we are going to be sitting with
Maybe Hawaiian Airlines will sponsor us.
Wouldn't that be so nice?
Yeah.
In a dream world.
We could just sit like on the beach and we're like with our beach chairs.
Oh, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna do
Let's
it.
do it.
Let's manifest it.
Manifest. I'm gonna put it on my vision board.
Hey, on Travis Kelsey's podcast and Jason Kelsey's podcast yesterday, they were interviewing a player and they were talking about how he manifested being part of these teams and then Travis, there's like this clip and he's like, well, you know, I believe in manifesting, and like he looks and gives this smile and you wonder if Taylor's like sitting over there because you know he manifested his friendship bracelet.
Yeah.
On top, so then it shows like a clip of like last year, then this year, then
my
like they
goodness.
just got back from the Bahamas.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so funny.
So you know,
hey,
put it out there.
we're gonna put it out there. A beach vacation.
Beach vacation.
Beach
Podcast
trip. Podcast on the road is what
Yes,
we're gonna do.
yes.
So, what about you? Any mom moments?
And so many, but I'm just gonna narrow it down to like the funniest ones. So, my daughter, I have two daughters, and they one of them went to her dance, and this is my daughter that she got a boyfriend recently. He asked her out, which is really funny. He was going to the dance, and they're very sweet, you know. And so he's never been to a middle school dance. So she was meeting him there, and it was a Hawaiian themed dance. So she was all excited. I got her like an outfit and she's all ready to go.
Cute.
And then my husband and I pick her up together, you know, and she's in leadership. So she kind of helps with the leadership in the yearbook class. And she comes running out. And she's like, he kissed me. And we're like, my husband's like ready to crash.
What do you mean he kissed you? Like what kind of kiss?
And I'm like, at the dance? You know, and he's like, well, he brought me outside and asked if he could kiss me on the cheek.
Oh,
I turned all red. Oh, it was a cheek kiss.
Oh,
And then
sweet
she
is
said,
that?
I had to go back to work because I'm in leadership.
Don't they have chaperones for that? Like
Apparently.
you like aren't you like they put their hands like no this is this far apart.
Well, and then my other
getting close.
daughter goes to a private Catholic school. So when they go to the dances, they come between and they go, leave room for the Holy Spirit.
No, they don't.
They did.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. And then the funniest part was the first dance she ever went to, like, and they all wear like dresses and they kind of like dress up. And they're supposed to be, you know, an appropriate length, but many are not.
Sure.
Still, even though it's really funny.
They
This
look
is the
like
private school.
They look like tube tops.
No, they have to have sleeves. They can't
okay.
be like that.
Okay.
But the funnier part was, so when she went to her first dance in 7th grade last year, you know, she never had been to a dance, and it was all these different Catholic schools. They all, because every Catholic school only has like 30 to 50 like students.
Yeah,
So it's really small. So it's only for the 7th and 8th graders. So she's like, oh my God, Mom, yeah, like we came and we were getting low. And I'm like, what do you mean getting low? And they're like, she's like showing me, and she's like, apple bottom jeans. She's like, you wouldn't know that song. I'm like, oh,
I know it.
Oh, that's from the 1900s.
We were clubbing to that.
We
song.
were clubbing to the apple bottom jeans.
Okay, that's so funny. Okay, this is totally off topic, but one of my colleagues, Crystal, shout out to you. She sold a house on Apple Blossom, and I told her every single time I hear Apple Blossom, all I can think about is Apple Bottom jeans. And she started laughing at me. I was like, I swear, that's all I can think about. I was like, I don't even think I would be able to.
Funny that they like get down to the songs, and then like you say like, well, I went to a dance to that song, and they're like, no, you didn't. Like that's new. I think it's not funny.
Remember I told you the story about me going to Santa Barbara? I want to say that song had just come out, like, because I remember it played in the club. So anyway,
so that was my mom moments. It was very sweet and funny,
so sweet,
terrifying all at the same time.
On the cheek.
Oh, what a sweet. And then the cutest part was, I just have to say, that night she goes home and we get like wash her face, and she goes, Dad, you can't kiss me on this side. You have to kiss me on this side because this is where my kiss was.
What a sweetheart. Oh my God, that's really like the cutest thing ever. Yeah. Just wait till it's on the lips.
Oh God. We're going to the convent. We're living in the convent.
Oh yes. Okay, cool. Well, going on to our next section, which is our Swiftie sell of the month. We figured we would highlight a property that is close to home in San Francisco. So it was previously owned by Nicolas Cage. He was not the current owner, but he had sold it to the current owners. And it was sold within a month. And it's a 5-bedroom, 6.5 bath Victorian style home in Pacific Heights in San Francisco. It is just under 7,000 square feet. Gorgeous. You'll see the photos here. Listed for $3.5 million, and it sold for 3.3.
That's actually a pretty, I wouldn't say a good deal for San Francisco.
I think so, because if you look at the photos, I was reading the article about it. They had done I think Nicolas Cage had done just a huge renovation.
Yeah, they probably had to do earthquake proofing and all of that.
And
stuff.
It had said that he put millions of dollars into this house. So anyway, I also thought that, we're going into the spring market and it sold within a month. So I was thinking that just goes to show it listed in February, sold in March, that we are starting to get into
the typical spring month.
Oh yeah.
Selling. It used to kind of go in seasons.
Yeah.
And then I think we've shared this before, once COVID hit, it was kind of all year round for a few years. So spring has always been, the time where everyone's kind of getting out of winter. Things are starting to bloom, because I'm sure you've gone on listing appointments lately where they're like, well, my garden doesn't look very good because the trees and the flowers aren't in bloom.
Yeah.
So they, the spring is kind of like when everything's pretty and blooming and people kind of, power wash all the winter off in their houses, and they get it all fresh and clean. And then usually they want to get it on before summer, as always. Yep. And, because people who have families are usually trying to move during the summer so that their kids can start schools, during when the school year starts, and enroll in those schools and move and whatever. So it's been a while, I would say, but this is definitely, I can say for myself, and from talking to you, the last 2 to 3 weeks have been crazy.
Things are definitely picking up. I've seen it. I actually was just texting a few different clients last night, and I'm like, they sent me something last week, and then they were going on vacation, and he's like, hey, can you research this property? And I was like, dude, that already went into contract. And he's like, oh, they're going quick. And I was like, that's exactly right. I think I've been seeing multiple offers happening again. Offer dates are happening again.
Offer dates are definitely back. That's a thing. And also, I think just the inventory, it's still not here.
Right.
So I think that's the other thing. Although everyone's kind of holding their listings. I feel like we both go to our broker tour meetings, but yes, they may be having listings, but there's only a couple that are trickling down at each price point. So depending on what you're looking for, what your clients are looking for, I have a few families, and they're looking to move, and they want to be in the $1 million range. And there isn't a whole lot, coming on. And they're kind of getting nervous because they're like, well, where's all this inventory? And, just yesterday in Petaluma, I think there was, 7 houses, and we went from, 2 to 3 houses to 7. So we've definitely doubled our inventory, which is good.
But then everybody's like, oh my God, we've had houses. Let's go.
Yes. And so, definitely, like, we talk about making those phone calls, and, I have a couple upcoming listings, and agents have been calling me like, when's it coming? And my clients, they're getting it ready. It's not ready yet, but,
Or like my client is power washing today because the last 2 days it had been raining when he was going to do it. And I'm just like, we got to get it on. I mean, we're planning on it, but yeah, no, it's definitely, things are picking up.
Yes. And we've had a lot of I think interest. The market right now is just really interesting, and there's a lot of news going on.
Yes.
We as realtors, you can be a real estate agent or a salesperson, but to be a realtor, which is, what April and I are, what our company asks us to be, we take a code of ethics, and that code of ethics, make sure that we do everything above board, and we're, have fiduciary responsibilities if we represent a buyer or a seller, and to one another as agents, and we have to disclose things, and it's kind of like going to a board certified surgeon versus not.
Yes.
Do you want to go fly somewhere to another country and get that procedure done, and maybe you're
taking a risk.
You're taking a risk.
Yes.
So we have a California Association of Realtors that kind of governs the California state area, which we are a part of. And I'll just say this, California, we're really lucky to live here, and I think you're lucky to buy and sell properties here because we have really dedicated people that take their job seriously to make sure that we are up and up on all the laws, that we are doing our best to make sure that both buyers and sellers are protected in a transaction.
Absolutely.
And I think we have a contract that's written by lawyers, and they spend years going over these contracts and every section of the contract and making changes so that it makes sense and it's legally written, so that you don't have to take it to your lawyer and then have them rewrite it.
Right.
So everybody in California uses the same contract throughout the state of California. But unfortunately, in other states, they don't follow the same protocols, and they aren't as careful as the California.
Yes.
So sometimes the way that we do business, even though we're all in the real estate business, is not the same state per state. So we also have what's called a National Association of Realtors, which is NAR, N-A-R, and that you can join that, which we're also part of. And it's kind of like a trade organization, and they're supposed to protect us. And they work on, they also work on lobbying for California housing laws, and, making sure that, property owners get the best benefits of things. And anyways, so many states are part of that, but not every state, I guess, has their own statewide association as well. Many do, but not everyone.
Yeah.
So April will go into it a little bit more, but you've probably been hearing a lot. There has been a settlement with NAR in the news based on some commission issues.
Yes. And I think it's really important to understand let's get into it, right?
Yeah.
The nitty gritty. So it's really important to understand that there was a NAR settlement that just happened. And if you watch Good Morning America, blah, 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 blah. Good Morning America, Ryan Serhant was on there. I did a little repost of him on my Instagram, but it's really important to understand that there's a lot of fake news out there as far as about commissions in real estate.
In headlines. I call them the TMZ clickbait headlines.
That's exactly what it is.
It really is, because there's a lot of false news, and sometimes people only read the headlines.
Yes. So that actually brings me to a quick little true or false myth buster section. And my question is for you, when you go to sell your home, Shannon, do you have to pay 6% commission?
No, and you never have had to.
Yeah.
Commission is 100% negotiable. And some people pay less than 6%, and sometimes people pay more than 6%.
Yeah.
So it has always been transparent and negotiable, and it should have been explained that way. A agent can choose not to take a job for a certain amount of money, depending on what kind of services they offer.
Absolutely.
That's their choice. And that's a buyer and seller can also choose not to work with an agent for that reason, or if their personalities are a fit, or they're not doing something.
Yeah.
So there's lots of reasons.
And I think really part of the settlement is what, needs to be talked about is There's not a lot of changes. I mean, we will not be able to advertise our commission on our MLS system anymore. Well, I shouldn't say we're not allowed to advertise because our berries, anyway, I can get into it. But needless to say, we should have already been having these conversations with our clients as far as the transparency of what my value is and what that means when you're taking a listing or working with a buyer, who's paying those commissions and that sort of thing. So that should have already been part of your topic of conversation. And I think this is just kind of really putting that out there as far as some people, I don't know those people. I don't know who's been doing it, but you just can't say this is the standard. This is what you have to pay.
I'm not allowed to do this.
Right.
So you may not choose to work for that amount, but you're not.
Sure.
It's not that it's governed by a law and you're not allowed to.
And anytime I sit down with my clients, I mean, it's always just part of the conversation. Hey, this is what I would like to work for, and just like, we were talking about it earlier. If I go, hire a contractor, am I going to pay for his services at the end of it? Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to. So that's part of the negotiation, though, because sometimes even with a contractor, you can negotiate a price within what is that final price going to be, depending on your materials used and that sort of thing, right?
Absolutely.
If I want to have that swanky, bathtub versus just
standard
built-in, it's going to make a difference as far as the cost goes. And that's kind of the way I see it in breaking it down as far as nothing is standard on what you should be paying, but it should be part of a conversation that you're having with your agent. We do still provide a service and we have a lot of responsibilities. And with all of these associations, we do abide by our fiduciary responsibility with our clients. And it's important to understand that, I don't know, that you have to be flexible as an agent. You have to be flexible in the understanding, but it's okay to ask questions.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important when both a buyer and seller are interviewing you, because I interview my clients just as much as they're interviewing me to make sure that we're a good fit. Sometimes we're not, but most of the time we are. And and I think it's important to ask, for, this percentage, what services do you offer? And I just went on a listing the other day and, I was telling my client all the things I offer. And I said, and I pay for videos and I pay for, professional photography. And this is the cost of it. So, and I don't mind sharing because I think it's important.
Sure.
And it comes out of the commission you're paying me. So I'm giving the money that I'm earning to pay for these things.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's a lot. Like, do you have to pay that much? And I go, I do, because I want you to get the most money for your home. And it's important to me.
I did the same thing and I choose to pay that.
And I choose to. You don't have to. You can take pictures with your cell phone. Some people do.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm not lying.
I saw some recent cell phone photos and
I'm not lying.
Why?
Some people put their own sign up. I prefer a company to do it. I mean,
we have people. We have people.
But those are the kind of questions to ask,
Yes. Yes.
And it's important to interview and ask those questions. And I think the part that's newer, that's maybe a little bit uncomfortable, and you've been doing this ever since you started in real estate, but being in it 21 years, I haven't always used like a buyer broker agreement.
Right.
So, nowadays, like when I sit there, what's kind of coming out of this is buyer listings. When you go on a listing, you have a listing contract that kind of lays out the time frame and the term and the fee of your listing.
Yeah.
Well, a buyer contract does that too, because it's sort of like when you decide to work together, I'm going to put you in the top of my list.
Yes.
When you commit to dating me. Right?
Oh my God, do you say that to
No,
your
you
clients?
said it.
Oh, I totally say it.
So April taught me this.
Yeah, I do.
And I just said, I love that line. And April taught me that. And I think that that's really important because she's well scripted on how to say that, where for me, it's kind of a newer thing.
Yeah.
I think, there's people that just want to be, on an email list and they're not like super serious.
Sure.
Well, you can look on Redfin and do those things. But if you want one of us to be calling the other realtors, to be getting you the disclosure packages, to be, going out videoing properties. And I need to make sure that like you're committed to me.
Absolutely. And I do a buyer consultation. And I think it's important to sit down with somebody prior to working together, but also because this buyer broker agreement, you are going to start seeing this really within.
It's a standard of practice.
It is a standard of practice. And I had already been using it. It's always been out there.
It's always
and
been
that's
there.
the thing is everybody's like, oh my God, there's this new agreement.
But not everybody's used it. And I could
always been out there. Yeah.
like, I never used one.
Yeah.
I think maybe twice, when something, there was an agent not an agent, a client who was kind of like, well, I'm working with this agent in Napa and this one in Marin. And it was like, okay,
yeah,
like that's fine. But I just, I don't want to be kind of putting other people aside if you're not going to be committed to me. Like I have to move those people to the top of my list.
Totally. And I think that's, I don't know, just to tie it into what our podcast is about, it's Realtor Reputation. And it's important to us and it's important to me. And why I do like consultations with all of my clients is I set a standard for myself, right? And it has nothing to do with commissions. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just, I want to work with people who want to work with me. And 100%. When I sit down and have a conversation with somebody, I want you to understand that I take my reputation very, very seriously. And
that's all you have in this business.
It is absolutely. And that's
all you have.
A buyer broker agreement, because it is going to be a term that's out there more and more and more. If you do hear about it, you can call me. I can explain it to you. You don't have to use me as an agent. I think it's just important that you really understand that when you start working with a real estate agent or a realtor, in our case, that we're going to be using these, and it just seals our professional relationship is really what
it really does.
And what I say is going from this is our first date to we're now officially dating.
That's so cute. And I think like the other thing, just kind of to circle back to the settlement is I think that people are saying that, now sellers don't have to pay a buyer's commission.
Yeah.
And they never had to, right? So it's going back to that, that they never had to, but there's just something to think about. And I just want to finalize with these thoughts.
Yeah.
Currently, and maybe it's going to change, but currently like a buyer, there's not a way really for a mortgage lender to write a buyer's commission into the loan. Like there's not like a way that a lender is going to accept that. Mm-hmm. So that would mean that a buyer would have to pay the commission as part of their closing costs, which would also mean that usually that those costs are kind of built into the sales price of the house, which means that, if you're not paying a commission as a seller, then the buyer may not be able to offer you that price, and that may come off of the sales price.
Right.
It also may mean that they can't write on your house. So you may not get as much activity or as many offers because they can't afford it because, they don't have that extra amount of money. And it also means that, a realtor is not going to work for free to represent buyers. I mean, it's just, I don't go to my accountant with my taxes and say, hi, I don't have any money and I expect you to work for free. It doesn't, we're professionals. Yeah, and I just want to say that that's really important. And the final thought that I heard on another podcast is somebody said, do you really want, buyers to print something off the internet who have never, who've never even bought a home and know what it entails, right? And know the process and what contingencies mean and what all the things mean, and have them like handing it to you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and then it falling apart and you not hearing from them. There's nobody to manage that process, which is terrifying. What if you were buying a house somewhere else and you put a deposit down and now you're going to lose your deposit? It's the biggest purchase and the biggest, amount of money that you're going to get when you sell a house. Yep. And I would not go to a doctor to like take out a kidney that didn't know what they were doing. And I wouldn't trust my money to somebody who didn't know what they were doing. So those are just some thoughts that I think are really important.
Do you trust somebody who's used Google, or do you trust somebody who actually?
No, I went on YouTube. YouTube. I read it on the internet.
Oh, that's all right.
Some cute.
Well,
so anyways,
that's kind of surface of what's going on.
Surface.
If anyone wants to reach out, if you would like more information, we could certainly provide that to you. But I
kind of wanted to spill some myths. Yeah. And our final thought is April and I this week have had kind of a hard week. We've both lost people we know to cancer this week, and makes us really, really sad. And these people have children.
And as moms and as human beings, it's really important to make sure we're getting those tests that we need to get. We have a dear friend with us at Vanguard who's fighting cancer right now, and she's an absolute joy and sunshine. Shout out to Amy for always being so amazing and positive in your journey and sharing it with us. But get those breast cancer screenings, get those colon cancer screenings. Please get them take care of there's many great things out there. And if you ever need help and you are in those situations, reach out to us. And, there's a village and nobody has to fight alone.
Yes.
So thank you.